Know that
So
much.
while we're doing this, one that wasn't an export thing, but was an interesting issue, the curb. What would your solution for fixing the curb be?
This bit here.
Because I went into Blender, selected a bunch of faces, deleted them. Like,
Okay, so my solution for the curb would be I would, because this is supposed to be reflected round there, so at some point an empty that had the right rotation on it didn't come across during part of the process. So if I can get
oh, okay.
this, so it should go around the corner with an empty, and then it should be mirrored as well over to the other side. Do we have? No, we don't quite have them back yet. Do I have enough undo levels?
Probably not.
Ba-da-da-da-da. Hopefully, yep. Okay, so what I would do here is I'd reduce that to the appropriate number, which is actually 3 in this case, and then maybe a mirror modifier again around this object here. That'll put it over on the other side. And then, there's a couple of things that you could do. You could come in and duplicate it and move it around, or you could rotate it around and then mirror it. It really doesn't matter the way that you approach it, as long as it's accurate. And this is just my fault. At some point during copying stuff over, I've moved the reflective empty and caused myself much headache.
A question from Critic MB. You're using minus value in the Y scale. Can't
That's
you just use
correct.
object mirror instead?
Object mirror. Not quite sure what you're talking about
Like
here.
the modifier mirror.
Or the modifier. That's
well,
X.
if you go up to the object menu, you can mirror it there.
That would mirror the actual data itself, which isn't what I want to do because it doesn't give me the flexibility of, let's say I wanted it over on this side as well, but there's already one there. If I just get rid of that, if I wanted the same pattern over on the other side, I could apply it very, very quickly. And using an objects mirror, we'll talk about this more in the course when we're making it, but using the actual object itself as its mirror point is reliant on its origin. And if you have a look at this, this is just this data here. So mirroring will only work around the object's origin, not around the rest of the scene like this. Which is why I've approached it this way. You could have been talking about this scale here, this minus Y here. That was to reflect it the other way. So we set it as 1. I genuinely don't know why it's at -1, because it doesn't matter. Oh, here's one that does need to be.
Your zoom on YouTube is not showing the full window.
Zoom on YouTube?
Yeah, I'm looking at the screen on YouTube.
Ah, yeah, it's zoomed in a little, isn't it? Hold on. There we go.
Phew.
Nice. So, missing me, but seeing stuff. So, yeah, that works with this one here. However, it wouldn't work with this one here. If I apply the scale on that, it flips around the other way. So, we need to go through the same process we went through before. So, we're selecting everything and we're applying the modifiers by converting everything to a mesh. I love that type. Right, then we need to make objects unique. So we're going to go to the object menu under relations, make single user, and apply it to the objects and the data. Now everything's its own user, so there shouldn't be any duplicates. However, there are some problems when we go and apply these transforms. Because when we go ahead and apply something with a positive transform, it should remain blue. If we do it to a negative transform, oh, that worked that time. Perfect. Have I fixed the problem?
I mean, does it count as fixing if you didn't know it was going to happen?
Maybe not. But okay, so this one's interesting. We've got this plane here that's somehow scaled -y. So we could scale that 1 and it flips it round. That's the reason why when we're applying the transforms, it's going wonky. But it's interesting. I wonder if there's a quick way of undoing my stupidity here. I mean, it's quite a tall order. Right? It's quite a tall order.
Is that Control Shift Z? Like,
Maybe. So yeah, reaching out to chat here. Do you know a way of applying a transform but not flipping normals? I don't.
my echo's back.
There we go. Echo gone.
We've been having such trouble with my audio settings and streaming.
That's why you disappeared before. I thought I was going to use that. So yeah, I think I'm going to have to go through and just bite the bullet on these assets and literally manually flip things. By the way, if you can see this red line running down here, that isn't that's a problem with how Blender renders things. It's really annoying. There's not actually bad geometry there. It just, I don't know, something to do with the zoom level. But it seems to show a red bit here that's not really in the way. So yeah, I think I've made a big enough boo-boo here that I'm going to have to go in and manually flip these round. Which is okay, because I'm making archways for these.
I mean, the alternative, instead of using them as planes, you could just put a big old cube there.
Oh, you mean in this corner, right?
Yeah.
Then we would just have a top... I'd have to delete geometry, so whether or
Then
not
we're
it's...
going to delete geometry anyway, so...
Exactly, but I could flip and completely lose it. Right, let's see what sort of chaos I've actually caused myself. So if I come in here and go ahead and apply the scale, that's basically what's causing the normals to flip around. And at least this time I can see that this plane here is going to be a problem. That face there is going to be a problem because I didn't reset the normals on that one. Yeah, I think as I've been building this up, I've not paid
the way it's
attention.
built, you can't just go in and say recalculate inside or recalculate outside because it has
yes,
no idea.
Actually, I can.
I tried that and it went horrifically wrong.
I can on some things. So this is actually a really important learning point, just in general. When you want to do something like Alt and N or under is it under this menu? I very rarely use the menu for this one. Faces, not faces have normals, don't they? So is it under here?
If you look under the menu, sad orc.
Here it is. Under mesh normals, recalculate outside. The way that it can calculate things on the outside is it needs to be a manifold mesh. So it needs to be a sealed mesh. So if you've got something like a plane, it cannot exist in real life. It's non-manifold. If you've got
pillars,
or some of the pillars. So if we go ahead and grab a yeah, it's a sad orc back again. If we go ahead and grab ourselves a cube, just shift it over here and focus on it for a moment. This is a manifold object. It's a sealed object. And so you can tell Blender, oh, in here, Alt and N, recalculate inside. It's flipped all the normals to inside, recalculate outside. Now I'm going to do inside again, so it's all red, so demonstrating a problem that we have. Then I'm going to delete this top face. So we can see that all of the normals are facing inwards. And this might be fine if you were making a room or this was the actual inside of an object that you were modeling. But now that it doesn't know, it's not a solid object. It's got no concept of what outside is. So if we select it and press recalculate outside. Oh, well done for showing me right on that button. And maybe it still knows it's a cube. I don't know how it's working that one out. Let's move on swiftly. Classic.
So we're all going to pretend that worked exactly as done, and yeah, just give Mikey a round of applause for being right.
Thank you. So here, if we go alternate and recalculate outside, does that actually fix our problem? Cool, it does. So it called us both liars in this case.
Well, I mean, the mesh I was trying to recalculate outside was very different, right? It was the applied transform was very different.
That's interesting. It should not be able to know which way a plane is. That's very, very interesting. I mean, I'm glad this works because now I can just script all of that. Because that's fantastic.
What is the inside I'm seeing there?
Which bit?
The L-shaped inside. I'm pointing at the screen. The L-shaped inside red bit behind the arch.
This red bit here.
Yeah, what is
So
that?
if we focus on it, it's the inside of this mesh.
Okay.
So when we were talking about optimization earlier, I knew that the only bit of geometry I actually needed was like this set of faces here.
Right.
Those lot running down, then it can be mirrored and then arrayed, and then the back bits could be copied again. So on the very, very
Well, the
original...
back could just be removed, to be honest.
No, it can't, because you can see behind it. This bit along the very top could probably be removed. All these bits at the very top
Right,
there.
the back.
I think so. Yeah, that would probably be okay. But again, it's part of the optimization stage.
Yeah.
It's only at this point do we have that that geometry's realized it's real. In this particular instance, it's been made real geometry. Have we still got the rest of our scene? No. Hold on a sec. That's the one.
I was going to say, we've had some people join in a little late. At some point, we should show them what this looks like in world as well.
Yeah, totally. Just let me show the world here for a moment. So this one little piece that's being used and repeated over and over again is exactly what this bit behind is, right? It's that individual mesh used but the other way and offset a little bit to create exactly the same thing. And then I cut it down because you didn't need to see the back.
I mean, in fairness, I could foresee a version of this where you use those arches without a back wall as a pass-through.
Yes, potentially. I've played around with this particular shape quite a bit because this can also be just against the wall itself. So if I just hide this, we could have a wall that's just this structure instead. It doesn't have to have those arches in front of it.